Okay, day 1 sketching. Well, actually it's day 3 here with Alice. Day 3 because I came earlier and then yesterday was the opening. So day 3 for me, but day 1 sketching. We're gonna open this new pack and let's see. Okay? Okay, so let's open this and see what I get with this accordion sketchbook from Phuket. Yeah, let's open it. Looks like this. And ooh, it is a nice little accordion. Recording. Oh, see? Let's see what I get. Doesn't, hopefully it doesn't drop.
Just make sure you don't have those mats, the function mat.
Today is 15号. Alice from Wonderland. And she is very hungry.
I'm angry.
Hangry. Oh. I have a podcast with her. The link is up here, above here. Somewhere. First stop is this aquarium thingy. I'm not sure. Can you see? Yeah, there. But then I'm with Alice and she's famished and she's hangry. And we're going to the cafe and get a bite. Yeah. And she's like hangry. Okay, wait. Let's see what is there in like Phuket Aquarium. Yeah, a little bit lah. Alright, let's go. Let's go eat. Cafe, here we come. So while Alice was getting her breakfast, I was just doodling away next to her, you know, seated overlooking the beach, but the view was blocked by a bunch of trees. Anyway, and I decided to just break in the sketchbook by putting in the logo and just coloring, basically. You know, when you're just copying someone's work, it's kind of fun, but then you do have to put in a bit of creativity, and I decided not to do exactly what I see. I mean, you could, but I decided to put in my own version of color and, you know, make it blend using watercolors, wet on wet, sort of, and make it more, you know, me. And yeah, it's a lot of fun just playing around. Anyway, at least I get my sketch in, and then, you know, I've kind of decided I'll go to walk about in the aquarium. Thing was, it's a little bit kind of unsettling because it's raining. It's actually quite nice and all that. Anyway, yeah. So we are going into the aquarium. I don't know. Maybe we should. No. Take your time. You want to draw here or no? I don't know. Yeah, fair enough. So I decided to get myself a ticket into the aquarium, and we're going to go in and take a spin around the aquarium. Let's go. Here we go. Okay, let me just show you a quick walk around the aquarium. When you enter, there are some small fishes, and you could see a lot of sketches already seated all over the place, sketching their fishes and whatnot. I mean, it's a nice, quaint little aquarium. It's not too far away from Phuket town. It's about 10 kilometers. And I guess it's good for, you know, I mean, if you happen to be around, it's kind of nice just to support the conservation activities that they do, and pop in and, you know, get a ticket, pop in, support them in a way. But it's not exactly the large aquarium, and they do have you know, a nice little collection of, I guess, some of the fishes around this area. Yeah. And there are also some really nice big fishes in a large tank. They look awesome. Some are just lazing around, on a typical Friday afternoon. And plenty of sketches taking photos. Okay, so then I started to plonk myself down to sketch. I'm going to speed up the video and make it, probably about 4 times the speed I normally did. I don't want to bore you with long footage of my drawing. Unless you want to see it, you let me know below. I might, do a real-time version of it. But anyway, the footage is okay. It's not great because, like they can see, there's actually shadow overcast on my sketchbook, and it's just annoying. Anyway, um, I decided to sketch fishes, and they are just from photograph. I mean, I didn't want to, I will leave some of the photos that I took from the aquarium in my community pages so that you can also do your own sketches. They won't be the same fish, but you could try your hand on sketching fishes if you like. And they're not that hard. I mean, the idea is very simple. You draw the lines of the fish and then observe the form, meaning the three-dimensional structure of the fish. Observe where the shadows are, observe where the highlights are, leave plenty of white so that you could, because fish has got very reflective skin, right? So, or the scales. So you want to make sure that the reflections and the lights are all captured by leaving paper white as much as you can. And then you observe basically how would you structure or layer the fish. You don't have to draw every scale. You do have to hint the scales, and that's all you need to do. And then use lines to indicate structure as well, using thin lines to draw the various parts of the fish, the tail, the fins, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's kind of like the basic idea, all right? As you can see, I was just using, I was going back and forth between, different parts, different fishes. I will draw the first one, draw the second one, color the first one, color the second one, waiting for the first one to dry, go to back to, I was just going back and forth basically. And every layer that I do, it gets progressively, complicated, right? I mean, the more layers, the more complicated the sketch becomes for that fish. So the first fish has got a lot more layers, the second fish, the third fish, and eventually when I got to the fifth fish, I ran out of time, so I had to leave. Anyway, but you get the idea, right? You don't really have to um, draw one fish complete and then go to the second one. You can always, um, use different part of the paper to sort of wait for the first one to dry, draw the second one, draw the third one, go back to the first one when the first layer dries, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's just about managing various parts of the sketch. That's how, I kind of sketch a lot in a lot of sketches as well by bringing multiple sketchbooks. Sometimes I'll bring 3 sketchbooks. I'll draw on the first sketchbook, layer the first layer for the first sketchbook, go to the second sketchbook, draw, and then waiting for the first sketchbook to dry, and then and so on and so forth. I mean, but for a accordion sketch like this, it's perfect to do exactly that. In other words, I would draw while waiting for the first or the second fish to dry, so to speak. So when I finished my, I guess the fourth fish, I kind of decided I'll use a odd number of fishes because aesthetically, it's always better and preferred to use odd numbers because somehow even numbers are just not pretty, right? So I looked at it and so, oh, it's pretty bare. So I'm going to do some splashes behind with some interesting colors to make it look like it's swimming in some place, right? And the colors I decided was a sort of a mid-tone color, a bit of a quinacridone rose, a bit of permanent alizarin crimson, and then with a bunch of cobalt thrown in. And then, use some cadmium to sprinkle all over. That's kind of like my recipe that I was thinking about. But the other reason why I was going to do it is because there are some edges of the fish, like for example, on the top part of the fish or at the bottom part of the fish, where the light caught reflections on the body of the fish. So I wanted to use background to basically make the highlight or the reflection pop. Right now, you can't quite see the different, there's no space or shape separation between the fish and the background. So you can't see the highlight. But the moment I put in the background, I'm hoping that that will give a sort of a highlight, for the fish. In other words, the white, paper white will come through, right? And I also didn't really intend to paint everything. So I'm kind of using some design, it's a bit abstract and a little bit random, leaving a whole bunch of white, partly to make it interesting, partly to, not make the beginner's mistake of coloring every single space that there is, right? The other thing I take care to do is that if I use a different color, like for example, red, I want to make sure that it runs right through behind the fish itself so that it looks like one piece and not look like it's multiple pieces running through the fishes. Okay. So at this point, I was almost running out of time and the bus was going to leave. So I had to quickly pack up and run off to look for the bus. But before that, just sprinkle some cadmium and some other colors and lots. And the other problem I had was I had, wet sketchbook while I packed and run off to the bus. And eventually, after lunch, I settled myself into a cafe, and that's when I continue with my sketch to try to finish it up. And then I try to terminate the aquarium part of the sketch with this merman. I think it's a merman, but it has long hair, so I'm not sure whether it's a mer lady boy. But anyway, um, so I decided to just sketch that in and finish that part of it as a little doodle for remembering the morning of day one sketching in Phuket, Asialink. The afternoon sketched a bit hot, and I just didn't want to go walk about and make myself all sweaty. I plonked myself down at a cafe and basically just got myself a drink and a little snack and was just, sketching from photographs. So yeah, it's not really urban sketching, but anyway, I'm still sketching. I'm still here in Phuket. I'm enjoying myself tremendously, meeting up old friends and just really having a blast. So I wasn't really too worried about doing not doing urban sketch. I think sometimes people can be too stuck with the idea. I know it's part of the urban sketching philosophy, but if there are some days when you don't feel like sitting out there and battling the elements, then don't. Just be yourself. Enjoy sketching, enjoy being out there, but not necessarily have to be forcing yourself into a corner type space where there are 50 people around you sketching and the best spots already taken and you don't have to angle, blah blah blah. Lots of reasons, right? So if you don't enjoy that, then just go get yourself a coffee and plonk yourself down in a cafe. You might meet interesting people for a chat. There were two Russian ladies dressed to kill, seated right next to me, and so um, and then the funny thing is that there was a guy who came around and asking for their phone number, and he was rejected. Um, it was fun watching the conversation. Anyway, and then there was a couple that came along and say hello. Timothy, I think his name. And if you watch this, say hello again. And so plenty of interesting things that could happen when you're not doing urban sketching, but you're doing sketching in a cafe. There's also that part of it which could be very enjoyable. So yeah. So yep, I am sort of done for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was really fun yesterday as I sketched. There was plenty of other sketches that I did. I mean, I did a lot of doodles. I tried to finish a little doodle every few minutes. So I did some 20, 30 sketches, I think. But they're not for show because they are really bad quality. Again, that's another thought. Not all sketches has to be good, but some of them are practice new ideas or new skills that you want to work on. And it is just really about enjoying yourself and just hacking out a bunch of sketch. In that sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to today. I'm seated in the hotel right now, cutting this video from yesterday. I want to put this out before I go off and hit day 2 of Asialink in Phuket. So that's it. For now, I'm signing off. I hope you enjoyed this, and wherever you are, stay safe. This is We Take Out for this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm hoping to hit out a couple more videos before Asialink ends. All right. So yeah, this is the finished sketch. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.